Good evening. Let me ask you something. What's holding you back? What's standing between you and the life you know you deserve? Is it fear? Doubt? The opinions of others? Whatever it is, tonight, I'm here to tell you that those barriers don't define you. Your limits are not your destiny. See, too many of us have been taught to settle. We've been conditioned to believe that our dreams are too big, that our circumstances are too hard, that success is reserved for someone else. Let me tell you the truth, that's a lie. Every single person in this room has greatness inside of them. Not just talent, not just potential, greatness. But the difference between those who unlock it and those who don't is not intelligence. It's not resources. It's not luck. It's grit. It's that refusal to quit when things get tough. It's the willingness to break down every wall, to push through every obstacle, and to keep going when the world says stop. You see, barriers aren't there to stop you. They're there to test you. They're there to ask, how bad do you want it? Let me tell you something about dreams. Dreams don't come cheap. You can't buy them on sale, and you can't borrow them from someone else. You have to be willing to pay the full price. And that price, that's your dedication. That's your sacrifice. That's your relentless effort when no one's watching, when no one believes in you, and when it feels like all the odds are stacked against you. But here's the thing. If you can hold on through the storm, if you can outlast the struggle, if you can dig deep when everything inside you says, I can't, you'll discover something incredible. You'll realize that the limits you thought were there, they were just illusions. You were never bound by them. You were bound by the belief that they existed in the first place. And when you break free, something amazing happens. You stop just dreaming and you start building. You start taking that vision in your head and turning it into something real. Brick by brick, day by day, action by action. Because dreams without action are just fantasies. But dreams backed by effort, focus, and discipline, those are the seeds of greatness. So tonight, I challenge you to go beyond. Go beyond fear. Go beyond doubt. Go beyond comfort. Stop waiting for permission and start moving towards your purpose. And when the world tells you you can't, when people doubt your vision, don't waste energy proving them wrong. Prove yourself right. Because this journey isn't about death, it's about you. Your potential, your calling, your dream. The world needs what only you can bring. Your story, your passion, your fire. So don't just break barriers, obliterate them. Don't just chase dreams, build them. And don't just settle for what's possible, go beyond limits and show the world what's truly extraordinary. Limits are illusions. Barriers test your commitment. Too often, we allow ourselves to be confined by the boundaries we perceive around us. But these boundaries are nothing more than a fabrication of our own minds or the doubts of others. These so-called limits don't actually exist in the physical world. They're created by fear, by hesitation, by a lack of belief in what we're capable of achieving. They're whispers in your ear telling you that you're not good enough, that the road is too hard, that success is meant for someone else. But here's the truth. Those whispers are lies. Those barriers you see aren't there to stop you. They're there to measure your resolve. Imagine a runner standing at the starting line of a race. Ahead of them lies not just a finish line, but hurdles, obstacles placed there to test their skill, endurance, and drive. The hurdles aren't there to say, you can't. They're there to say, show me how much you want this. Life operates in the same way. Every challenge, every obstacle, every barrier is asking, how bad do you want it? The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who avoid the hurdles or find an easier path. They're the ones who look at the barrier straight on and decide, I'm going over, around, or through. But I'm not stopping. Think about the most iconic breakthroughs in history. People who shattered expectations and broke down walls that society or circumstance placed before them. These individuals didn't succeed because they were born with some magical ability to bypass challenges. They faced them knowing that each one was an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more determined. When you view limits as illusions, you begin to understand that the real battle is within. The most powerful barriers aren't the external ones. The lack of resources, the competition, the doubters. They're the internal ones. The voice in your head that says, what if I fail? The self-doubt that creeps in and tells you you're not ready. These are the most dangerous barriers because they're invisible, but they're no less real. The question is, will you allow those thoughts to dictate your future, or will you push past them and prove them wrong? There's a reason why some people seem unstoppable. It's not that they don't face challenges. It's not that they don't experience fear or self-doubt. It's that they've trained themselves to see those challenges differently. Where others see a wall, they see a stepping stone. Where others feel fear, they feel the excitement of a new opportunity. This mindset isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It's a decision you make day after day to push back against the voice that says, stop, and to listen to the one that says, go further. When you encounter a barrier, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. It's easy to think, this is too much, I can't handle this. But have you ever stopped to consider what that barrier is asking of you? Have you ever thought that maybe it's not there to block you, but to help you grow? Barriers have a way of revealing who you are. They expose your weaknesses, your fears, and your doubts. But they also highlight your strengths. They show you what you're made of, what you're capable of, and how much you're willing to fight for what you want. If you look back on your life, you'll probably find moments where you faced what seemed like an impossible situation. Maybe it was a personal struggle, a professional setback, or a dream that felt out of reach. At the time, it might have felt like the end of the road. But now, looking back, you can see how that moment shaped you. You can see how it taught you lessons you couldn't have learned any other way, how it forced you to dig deeper, and how it prepared you for what came next. Those barriers weren't there to stop you, they were there to refine you. It's easy to look at someone else's success and think they had it easier. Maybe they had more resources, more connections, or more opportunities. But what you don't see is the struggle they went through to get there. Every successful person has faced barriers, every single one. The difference is that they didn't let those barriers define them. They didn't let the challenges dictate their story. They used the obstacles as fuel, as motivation to prove not just to the world, but to themselves that they could overcome anything. That they could prove themselves, that they could prove anything. Barriers have a way of separating those who are merely interested in success from those who are truly committed to it. Interest is fleeting. It fades when things get hard. But commitment is unshakable. It's what keeps you going when everything inside you says, I can't do this anymore. It's what drives you to wake up early, stay up late, and keep pushing when the results aren't immediate. Commitment is what turns limits into stepping stones. When you start to see barriers as tests of your commitment, something shifts inside you. You stop seeing them as reasons to quit and start seeing them as opportunities to rise. You realize that every time you break through a barrier, you're not just moving closer to your goal. You're becoming a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. So many people give up at the first sign of resistance. They hit a wall and think, well, I guess this isn't for me. But what if that wall is there to see how badly you want it? What if it's there to separate those who are willing to settle from those who are willing to fight? Every time you push past a barrier, you send a message. Not just to the world, but to yourself. You're telling yourself, I am unstoppable. I am capable. I am committed. The journey to success is never a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and obstacles that will test you at every step. But each of those obstacles is an opportunity to prove your commitment. It's a chance to show yourself and the world that you're not defined by the limits others try to place on you. You're not confined by circumstances or by the expectations of others. The truth is, the only real limits in life are the ones you accept. When you decide to push past them, when you decide to face every barrier head on, you begin to realize just how powerful you are. You begin to understand that the barriers were never there to stop you. They were there to teach you, to make you stronger, to prepare you for everything you're capable of achieving. Greatness is unlocked through grit, not luck. The world has a tendency to glamorize success, painting a picture of overnight achievements and effortless victories. We see the highlights, the awards, the applause, the moment someone reaches the top, and it's easy to believe they were just in the right place at the right time. But let me tell you, there is no such thing as luck when it comes to greatness. True greatness isn't handed to you. It's forged in the fire of perseverance, discipline, and relentless effort. Grit is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's not about being the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. It's about who is willing to show up day after day, even when progress feels slow, even when results are nowhere in sight. Grit is that unwavering determination to keep going, to push through pain, setbacks, and failures because you refuse to accept anything less than your best. When people look at greatness from the outside, they often focus on the outcome. They see the polished final product, but they don't see the polished final product, but they don't see the years of work that went into it. They don't see the sleepless nights, the early mornings, or the moments of self-doubt that had to be overcome. They don't see the sacrifices made, the relationships strained, or the personal battles fought in silence. That's what grit looks like. Putting in the work when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one even believes in you but yourself. Grit isn't glamorous, and that's why so few people embrace it. It's hard, it's uncomfortable. It demands that you step outside of what's easy and push yourself into the unknown. It means failing and then trying again. It means hearing no over and over, but still finding the strength to say yes to yourself. Grit doesn't guarantee immediate results. It doesn't promise a straight path to the top. But what it does guarantee is growth. Every time you push through a challenge, you get a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more capable. Think about the most inspiring people in history, those who changed the world, who broke records, who defied the odds. None of them got there by luck. They got there through grit. Take a moment to think about what that actually means. It means they faced the same doubts and fears as everyone else. They struggled, they failed, they questioned themselves. But what made them different was their decision to keep going. They refused to let setbacks define them or failures stop them. Greatness isn't a gift, it's a choice. It's the choice to show up when it's hard, to try again when you fail, to keep climbing when the mountain seems endless. And here's the thing about grit. It doesn't come naturally. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a muscle you develop by putting yourself in situations that challenge you, that stretch you, that force you to grow. People often talk about talent like it's the deciding factor in success, but talent will only take you so far. Talent might open a door, but grit is what keeps it open. Talent can give you a head start, but without grit, you'll eventually run out of steam. Grit is what allows you to keep going long after talent has faded. It's what makes you unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. There's a misconception that people with grit don't feel fear or doubt. That's not true. They feel it just like anyone else. The difference is that they don't let it stop them. They acknowledge the fear, but they don't give it power. They take the doubt and use it as fuel to prove themselves wrong. Grit is about doing the hard things, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, even when you don't know if you'll succeed. Grit is also about consistency. It's not about going all out for a week or a month and then giving up. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about putting in the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because the truth is, greatness is built in the small, unremarkable moments. It's built in the hours of practice, the repetitions, the tiny improvements that no one notices until they add up to something extraordinary. People who rely on luck are always waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right circumstances. But those who rely on grit create their own opportunities. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect because they know perfection is a myth. They work with what they have, where they are, and they find a way to make it happen. Grit doesn't mean you won't stumble. It doesn't mean you won't make mistakes or face setbacks. But it does mean you'll keep going. It means you'll get back up every time you fall. It means you'll learn from your failures and use them as stepping stones to get closer to your goal. When you embrace grit, you start to see challenges differently. Instead of obstacles, you see opportunities. Instead of setbacks, you see lessons. Every difficulty becomes a chance to grow, to strengthen your resolve, to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought possible. Greatness isn't about having an easy path. It's about overcoming a hard one. It's about looking at the barriers in front of you and deciding that they won't stop you. It's about knowing that the journey will be tough, but choosing to take it anyway. Because grit isn't about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about who you become along the way. When you commit to grit, you commit to growth. You commit to pushing past your limits, to challenging yourself in ways that might scare you, to stepping into discomfort, because you know that's where real progress happens. You understand that greatness isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you earn through relentless effort and determination. Grit isn't loud or flashy. It doesn't call attention to itself. It's quiet, steady, and unyielding. It's the voice inside you that says, keep going when everything else tells you to stop. It's the decision to try one more time, to take one more step, to give it everything you've got, even when the odds are against you. Here's the most important thing about grit. It's within your control. You don't need luck to have grit. You don't need anyone's permission or approval. Grit is a choice you make, a mindset you adopt, a commitment you honor. It's not about what you have. It's about what you're willing to give. It's not about where you start. It's about how far you're willing to go. When you rely on grit, you take ownership of your journey. You stop waiting for someone else to make things happen, and you start making them happen for yourself. You stop looking for shortcuts and start embracing the process. You stop focusing on what you lack and start using what you have. Greatness is unlocked through grit, because grit is what allows you to keep moving forward no matter what stands in your way. It's what gives you the strength to keep climbing even when the summit feels out of reach. It's what turns dreams into reality, potential into power, and effort into achievement. Dreams demand action, not just vision. It's easy to dream. Anyone can close their eyes and imagine a better life, a grander future, or an extraordinary achievement. Dreams are powerful. They give us hope, direction, and purpose. But dreams alone are not enough. They are the spark, but the fire requires action. Without action, a dream remains a fantasy, a fleeting thought that never materializes. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't lies in the steps they take to bring those dreams to life. It's easy to fall in love with the idea of a dream, the vision of success, the end goal, the rewards. It's intoxicating. But the reality of achieving that dream is far less glamorous. It's hard work. It's effort. It's showing up every single day, even when progress seems invisible. Dreams demand action because they require you to turn your ideas into reality. They don't just happen. They're built piece by piece, moment by moment, with every decision and every effort you make. Action is what gives dreams their power. It's what separates the wishers from the doers. It's not enough to sit and plan or to talk about what you're going to do. You have to do it. You have to take that first step, no matter how small it is. The first step is always the hardest because it requires courage. It requires you to face the possibility of failure and to move forward anyway. But once you take that first step, the dream begins to take shape. People often wait for the perfect moment to act. They think they need more time, more resources, more confidence. They wait until they feel ready. But the truth is, you're never going to feel completely ready. There will always be doubts, fears, and uncertainties. If you wait for perfection, you'll wait forever. Dreams don't demand perfection. They demand progress. They demand that you take action, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, even when the path ahead is unclear. There is no such thing as uncertainties. If you wait for perfection, you'll wait for unsure. Even when the path is unknown, you'll make. Taking action doesn't mean you have to know everything or have all the answers. It doesn't mean you have to get it right the first time. It just means you have to start. You have to be willing to learn as you go, to adapt, and to keep moving forward. Action is messy, it's unpredictable, it's full of mistakes and failures. But every action, no matter how small or imperfect, dreams don't care about your excuses. They don't care about how busy you are, how tired you feel, or how hard the journey is. They care about what you're willing to do. Are you willing to put in the time, the effort, the energy? Are you willing to make sacrifices, to prioritize your dream over distractions, to stay focused when others lose their way? Dreams demand discipline. They require you to stay committed, to keep working, to keep striving, even when the excitement fades and the work gets tough. The process of turning a dream into reality is not linear. It's not a straight line from point A to point B. It's full of twists and turns, highs and lows, successes and setbacks. Action doesn't guarantee immediate results, and that's where most people give up. They take a few steps, encounter resistance, and stop. They let fear or frustration convince them that the dream isn't worth it or that they're not capable. But dreams test you. They test your patience, your perseverance, and your commitment. They ask, how much do you want this? Every time you take action, you're sending a message not just to the world, but to yourself. You're saying, I'm serious about this. I'm willing to do the work. I'm not going to stop until I get there. And that consistency builds momentum. Momentum is a powerful thing. It starts small with one action, one step, one decision, but as you keep moving, it grows. It becomes a force that propels you forward, making it easier to take the next step and the next. Dreams don't come to those who wait. They come to those who work. They come to those who are willing to take risks, to step out of their comfort zone, to do what others won't. Action requires courage because it means putting yourself out there. It means exposing yourself to failure, criticism, and uncertainty. But it's also the only way to achieve something extraordinary. Many people underestimate the power of small actions. They think that unless they're making huge leaps, they're not making progress. But dreams are built on the foundation of small, consistent actions. It's the daily habits, the incremental improvements, the steady effort that adds up over time. Each small step might seem insignificant in the moment, but collectively they create something incredible. Action also creates clarity. When you're stuck in your head dreaming and planning, it's easy to get overwhelmed. The path ahead can seem confusing, and you might not know where to start. But when you take action, even a small one, the path begins to reveal itself. You start to see what works and what doesn't. You learn from your experiences, and with each step, you gain more confidence and more clarity about what you need to do next. Dreams demand action, because action is what transforms you. The journey of pursuing a dream is as important as the dream itself. It's not just about achieving the goal. It's about who you become in the process. It's about developing resilience, grit, and determination. It's about discovering your strengths, overcoming your fears, and realizing your potential. Action forces you to grow, to stretch yourself, to rise to challenges you never thought you could handle. When you take action, you're not just working towards your dream, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of making it happen. Every step you take builds confidence. Every obstacle you overcome reinforces your belief in yourself. And that belief is what keeps you going when the journey gets tough. Dreams demand action, and action demands consistency. It's not enough to act once or twice. You have to keep going day after day, even when it feels like you're not making progress. You have to trust the process, knowing that every action, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your goal. Action requires sacrifice. It means giving up what's easy, what's comfortable, what's familiar. It means prioritizing your dream over distractions, over short-term pleasures, over things that don't serve your long-term goals. Sacrifice is hard, but it's also necessary. It's the price you pay to turn your dream into reality. Dreams demand action, and action demands courage. Action is what gives meaning to your dream. It's what turns an idea into a goal into a plan, and a plan into reality. Without action, a dream is just a wish. But with action, it becomes something tangible, something real, something you can hold in your hands and say, I made this happen. Dreams demand action. And action demands persistence. It means continuing to work, even when progress is slow, even when you face setbacks, even when the journey feels endless. Persistence is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up. It's the refusal to quit, no matter how hard it gets. Dreams demand action because they require you to invest in them. They require your time, your energy, your focus. They require you to prioritize them, to commit to them, to make them a central part of your life. Dreams aren't passive, they're active. They're a call to action, a challenge to rise to the occasion, a test of your determination and willpower. When you take action, you're not just working toward your dream, you're living it. Every step you take, every effort you make, every decision you choose brings you closer to the life you want. Dreams demand action because action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, the gap remains and the dream stays out of reach. But with action, anything is possible. Success is a mindset, not a destination. Too often, people see success as a place they'll eventually arrive at, a milestone they'll reach, or an achievement they'll unlock. Success starts in your mind long before it shows up in your reality. It's a way of thinking, a way of being, and a way of seeing the world. When you adopt the mindset of success, you begin to view challenges differently. You stop seeing obstacles as barriers and start seeing them as opportunities to learn and grow. You understand that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every setback, every mistake, every misstep is a stepping stone that gets you closer to your goal. A success-orientated mindset allows you to embrace these moments instead of fearing them, knowing that they are essential to your journey. The mindset of success is rooted in belief. Belief in yourself, in your abilities, and in your capacity to achieve great things. It's not about being arrogant or overconfident. It's about having faith in your potential and knowing that you're capable of more than you might think. This belief doesn't come naturally for everyone. It's something you cultivate over time by taking action, pushing through fear, and proving to yourself that you can do hard things. Success is also about resilience. It's about bouncing back when life knocks you down. It's about refusing to give up, no matter how tough the journey gets. Resilience is what keeps you moving forward when everything else tells you to stop. It's what helps you stay focused on your goals, even when the path ahead seems unclear. With the right mindset, you develop the mental toughness needed to navigate the ups and downs of life without losing sight of your dreams. One of the most important aspects of a success-oriented mindset is focus. The world is full of distractions, and it's easy to get sidetracked by things that don't really matter. But when you have the mindset of success, you learn to tune out the noise and stay laser focused on your goals. You prioritize what's important and let go of what isn't. This kind of focus doesn't just happen. It requires discipline and intentionality. It means saying no to things that don't align with your vision, even when they're tempting. Success is a mindset because it's about how you perceive and react to the world around you. It's about finding opportunities where others see limitations. About staying optimistic even in the face of adversity. A success mindset doesn't mean you ignore challenges or pretend that everything is perfect. It means you approach difficulties with a sense of curiosity and a willingness to find solutions. You see problems as puzzles to be solved, not as roadblocks that can't be overcome. This mindset is also about taking responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for your situation. But when you adopt a success-oriented mindset, you take ownership of your choices and your actions. You understand that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. This sense of personal accountability is empowering because it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Success is a mindset that requires consistent effort. It's not something you develop overnight, and it's not something you can turn on and off. It's a daily practice. a commitment to showing up as your best self, even when it's hard. This means setting goals, creating a plan, and sticking to it. It means staying disciplined, even when motivation fades. Success isn't about doing one big thing. It's about doing the small things day in and day out that add up over time. Another key element of a success-oriented mindset is adaptability. The path to success is rarely a straight line. There will be detours, obstacles, and unexpected changes. If you're rigid in your thinking, these challenges can derail you. But if you're adaptable, you can pivot and adjust without losing momentum. Adaptability means being open to new ideas, willing to take risks, and ready to learn from every experience. It's about staying flexible while keeping your eyes on the prize. Gratitude is also a critical component of the success mindset. It's easy to focus solely on what you want to achieve and forget to appreciate what you already have. But gratitude shifts your perspective. It helps you recognize the progress you've made and the opportunities in front of you. When you're grateful, you're more likely to stay positive, motivated, and inspired. Gratitude doesn't mean settling for less or being complacent. It means finding joy in the journey while striving for more. Success is a mindset because it's about the habits and behaviors you cultivate. It's about how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, and the choices you make every day. Successful people don't rely on luck or talent alone. They build habits that support their goals, like staying organized, managing their time effectively, and prioritizing self-care. They surround themselves with people who uplift and inspire them, and they let go of relationships that drain their energy or hold them back. The mindset of success also requires self-awareness. You need to understand your strengths, your weaknesses, and your triggers. You need to know what drives you, what inspires you, and will hold you back. Self-awareness allows you to make better decisions and to align your actions with your values and goals. It helps you recognize when you're off track and empowers you to course correct. Success is about progress, not perfection. A success-oriented mindset embraces the idea that growth is a journey, not a destination. It's not about being the best right now. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. This mindset allows you to celebrate your wins no matter how small and to use your setbacks as fuel for improvement. It's about focusing on the process, not just the outcome, and finding joy in the effort itself. Confidence is another cornerstone of the success mindset. But confidence isn't about arrogance or thinking you're better than others. It's about trusting yourself and believing in your ability to figure things out. Confidence comes from preparation, practice, and perseverance. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build through experience and effort. With confidence, you're more willing to take risks, step out of your comfort zone, and pursue opportunities that others might shy away from. But the most important thing is a success-oriented mindset also values persistence. It's easy to start something, but it's much harder to see it through to the end. Persistence is what keeps you going when the initial excitement wears off, when the challenges seem insurmountable, and when progress feels slow. It's about staying committed to your goals even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Persistence doesn't mean you won't face setbacks. It means you won't let those setbacks stop you. Success is the mindset that prioritizes growth over comfort. It's about pushing yourself to do things that are hard, that scare you, that stretch your limits. It's about embracing discomfort because you know that's where real progress happens. Growth requires you to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to challenge yourself in ways that might feel uncomfortable. But with the right mindset, you learn to see discomfort as a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Finally, the success mindset is about having a clear vision for your life. It's about knowing what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to do to achieve it. This clarity gives you direction and purpose, and it helps you stay focused when distractions arise. A clear vision doesn't mean you have all the answers, but it does mean you have a sense of where you're headed and the steps you need to take to get there. When you adopt the mindset of success, you stop seeing success as something you'll achieve someday and start living it every day. Success becomes less about the destination and more about the journey, the choices you make, the habits you build, and the mindset you cultivate along the way. Breaking barriers begins with breaking the limitations in your own mind. The biggest barriers we face are often not external, they're internal. They're the doubts, fears, and beliefs that tell us we can't do something. They're the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of. These barriers are invisible, but they are powerful. They shape how we see the world, how we approach challenges, and what we believe is possible. To break barriers in the world, you first have to break the ones within yourself. Every person has a mental ceiling, a point where they subconsciously believe their abilities or potential, and it might be a fear of failure, a fear of success, or a belief that you don't deserve more than what you have. These ceilings are built over time, shaped by experiences, societal expectations, and the opinions of others. They're reinforced every time you play it safe, every time you doubt yourself, every time you choose comfort over growth. To break these barriers, you have to confront them. You have to recognize them for what they are: lies. Breaking internal barriers requires self-awareness. You have to be honest with yourself about the fears and beliefs that are holding you back. It's not easy to look in the mirror and admit that you've been standing in your own way. But self-awareness is the first step to change. When you identify the thoughts and behaviors that limit you, you can start to challenge them. You can ask yourself, is this really true? Is this belief helping me or hurting me? What would happen if I chose to think differently? Fear is one of the most common internal barriers. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment. It all stems from the fear of the unknown. But fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal. It's a sign that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, that you're doing something that matters. Breaking the barrier of fear doesn't mean you stop feeling it. It means you learn to act despite it. It means you acknowledge the fear, but you don't let it control you. Another barrier is the fear of failure. Failure is often seen as the end, as proof that you're not good enough. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every successful person has failed, probably more times than they can count. The difference is that they didn't let failure stop them. They used it as the learning experience, a stepping stone, a chance to grow. When you change your perspective on failure, it becomes less of a barrier and more of an opportunity. Breaking internal barriers also means letting go of the need for approval. Too many people are held back by the fear of what others will think. They worry about being judged, criticized, or misunderstood. But the truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. You can't control what others think, but you can control how much power you give their opinions. When you stop seeking external validation and start trusting yourself, you free yourself from one of the biggest barriers of all. Breaking barriers requires courage. Courage to face your fears, to challenge your beliefs, to take risks. Courage to step into the unknown, to try something new, to fail and try again. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act despite it. It's the voice that says, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. Every time you choose courage over fear, you weaken the barriers in your mind. Another internal barrier is the belief that you're not enough. Not smart enough, talented enough, experienced enough. This belief is a lie, but it's a powerful one. It's a lie that keeps you playing small, that keeps you from going after what you want. To break this barrier, you have to rewrite the story you tell yourself. You have to replace self-doubt with self-belief. You have to remind yourself of your strengths, your successes, your potential. You have to choose to believe in yourself even when it feels hard. Breaking internal barriers also means being willing to let go of the past. Past failures, past mistakes, past hurts, they can all become barriers if you hold on to them. They can make you afraid to try again, afraid to trust, afraid to move forward. But the past doesn't define you unless you let it. To break these barriers, you have to forgive yourself, let go of the pain, and focus on the present. You have to remind yourself that you are not your mistakes, and that every day is a chance to start fresh. Breaking barriers requires resilience. It's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the barriers feel too big to overcome. But resilience is what keeps you going. It's the ability to get back up every time you're knocked down. It's the determination to keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Resilience is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Breaking barriers also means breaking the cycle of limiting habits. Habits are powerful, and they can either support you or hold you back. If you want to break barriers, you have to be willing to change the habits that aren't serving you. This might mean waking up earlier, prioritizing your time better, or letting go of distractions. It's not easy to change habits, but it's necessary if you want to break free from the patterns that keep you stuck. Another important part of breaking barriers is surrounding yourself with the right people. The people you spend time with have a huge impact on your mindset and your actions. If you're surrounded by people who doubt you, criticize you, or hold you back, it's going to be much harder to break through your barriers. But if you're surrounded by people who believe in you, support you, and challenge you to be your best, it becomes much easier to push past your limits. Breaking barriers requires a willingness to take responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for the barriers you face. But the moment you take responsibility, you take back your power. You realize that you have the ability to change your situation, to create your own opportunities, to break through any barrier. Responsibility is not about blame. It's about ownership. It's about saying, this is my life, and I'm going to make the most of it. Breaking barriers also means being willing to ask for help. Too often, people see asking for help as a sign of weakness, but it's not. It's a sign of strength, of self-awareness, of a willingness to grow. No one breaks barriers alone. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a support system, having people who believe in you and can offer guidance is invaluable. The breaking barriers requires persistence. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a journey, a process, a series of small steps that add up over time. There will be setbacks, frustrations, and moments when you want to quit. But persistence is what keeps you going. It's the refusal to give up, no matter how hard it gets. It's the refusal to give up, no matter how hard it gets. It's the refusal to keep pushing, to keep striving, to keep believing in yourself, in your dreams. Finally, breaking barriers means being willing to dream bigger. Sometimes the biggest barrier is the one we placed on ourselves by thinking too small. We limit our potential by setting goals that are safe, that are comfortable, that don't challenge us. But if you want to break barriers, you have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and aim higher. You have to believe that you're capable of more, that you deserve more, that you can achieve more, and you dream bigger. You give yourself permission to break free from the limitations that have been holding you back.